Marvel just released their beginning of Phase 6, so today I thought it was time for me to stop and talk about the Fantastic Four first steps. Please know that everything that I will say in this video is just my very own opinion, and my name is SDub Nation, and you are free to comment down below. What did you think of Fantastic Four first steps? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Comment that down below in the comment section. Please don't forget to check out that Twitter and that TikTok link. Those links are in the description along with that Marvel playlist. That link is also in the description as well. With all that being said, guys, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into our review.
Our city, our planet, owe a debt to these intrepid souls. And while we can never repay them, we can certainly celebrate them.
Thank you, Fantastic Four. Thank you.
Thank you, Fantastic Four.
Please welcome the Fantastic Four.
Back 20 years ago, or even 15 years ago, me and my brother used to watch the old Fantastic Four films, the old X-Men films, and Spider-Man films. And though some of those movies weren't the best, they weren't, all three Spider-Men swinging around, they weren't the Avengers, they were all we had. And that's just my introduction to the Fantastic Four, those earlier films from 20 years ago, and also the Lego Marvel Superheroes video game. So with that being said, let's move right into the good. And the good thing that comes to mind here is that even though those older movies weren't the best, this is Marvel finally returning to firing on all cylinders. The writing is on point, the direction is peak, and getting into it, the cast's chemistry is electric. I had my doubts about the casting, in particular Pedro Pascal, but everyone plays their part so well that I completely ate my words. Pedro plays the most intelligent man on the planet with such stoicism that he's not exactly as charismatic or flamboyant as his other characters, but in some scenes that charm still kind of peeks through, but he completely is lost behind Reed Richards, and I love that. You got Vanessa here. She works great as Sue Storm. She is in mother mode. She kind of has to carry most of the dramatic weight, and I think she does a great job doing it. You also got Ebon here, being The Rock, pun intended, being kind of like the voice of reason and everything like that. And obviously you got Johnny here being the hothead, where he does have a couple of hilarious scenes, but you kind of see more of his smart side. You kind of see more of his brains here, and that's something that the other films never truly kind of explored upon, that all four of these people are geniuses. There's a reason why all four of them went up into space, unlike in the Fan Four Stick film where Johnny and Ben were not that intelligent. I also love the fact that this film is telling a story about a family that just so happens to have superpowers. When it comes to the team, their interactions, conversations just felt so organic and real, truly feeling like a family on screen. Additionally, with them being a family, there's automatically this added weight to the danger they find themselves in. For the past couple of years, the MCU haven't felt this fresh or intriguing, so the choice to set this film on a different Earth, inherently you get to create an entirely new world to play in. In some ways, the movie feels like a tribute to the Fantastic Four, paying homage to those older cartoons and also the older film, including making this world have its own distinct flavor, vibe, and style reminiscent of the 60s. Countless times I was amazed by how thorough and immersive everything was, having a mix of practical and CG that felt fully realized. I expected nothing less from the director of WandaVision, and if you guys haven't seen my Thunderbolts review, which you probably haven't, I talk in that video about I expected nothing less from the WandaVision director. That's not the WandaVision director. The guy who directed WandaVision directed this film, and I think that's why I loved it a little bit more than Thunderbolts here, because of what he was able to do with WandaVision, bringing in the spectacle but also the practical. He brought that to this film, and WandaVision has its own distinct style and flair. This film is no different. I think the world here, it just has its own history and rules, but it just has its own little vibe, so you can just live in this world and you want to know more about it. Also, because it's on its own Earth, it doesn't have the restraints that the rest of the MCU has, because it can just tell just this story featuring the Fantastic Four and not have it tie back to the events of Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Thor, the Avengers, Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man No Way Home. Nothing has to connect. It can just tell its own story. And that's pretty cool. Even though it's still inside of the MCU, it doesn't have to follow that canon, and it doesn't have the restraints. You could just go crazy with it and tell an original story. Because you want to and love to spend time in this world, the stakes feel large as you have scenes like Galactus walking down the street. The action is big and creative. It's a true spectacle. There's a scene with the Silver Surfer that just had my jaw drop. I know a lot of people kind of compare this to scenes of Interstellar. I can see that. I can see that very well because there's a lot of sci-fi action in here. And, you know, it gets pretty sci-fi, but it never goes into parody. Also, I know a lot of teeny boppers are going to be mad about the fact that the Silver Surfer is a female, that it has nothing to do with anything in the film. She's incredible. She's great. And when I was watching this in IMAX, the surround sound voice system for her just has this menacing tone. Along with Galactus, he has this presence, this menacing tone. So like whenever you hear his name, it immediately brings weight. It immediately brings dread. And when he finally joins in on the action, you fear for these characters because you just spent an entire film getting to know them, loving the family. Lastly, by jumping right into 4 years after their origin, we get to just explore their lives and how they interact with the public and their powers. But I do have a couple issues with that, so let's move right into the mixed. And the mixed thing that comes to mind here, and these are not good things or bad things, these are just things I wanted to talk about. There are a couple things left on the cutting room floor. I feel like this film could have benefited from another 20 minutes, just like, you know, Superman. It could have benefited from a couple more minutes. I also wanted a little bit more from The Thing. You know, I understand in the other films, we kind of get, you know, the things, you know, psychological trauma, dealing with, you know, being a rock monster, and I like the fact that he has an arc to play in those other films, and I kind of wish that you just got a little bit more dialogue from him in this film. Also, a more showcase of powers from Mr. Fantastic in particular. I wish he used his powers more. The film also slightly follows the plot of other Fantastic Four films, and you clearly feel that way while you're watching it. And because of how sci-fi it gets, it cheats a little bit in logic, but for me, that's kind of the charm of the film though. And if these are the only things that I have to talk about, then we have a pretty good film on our hands. In conclusion, Fantastic Four First Steps is the first good Fantastic Four movie and a return to the MCU firing on all cylinders. From the set production, to the action, to the direction, to the cast chemistry, to the dialogue. It felt like I was watching Marvel's best. And it's just so poetic because Marvel's best returns with Marvel's first family. And it felt like from the immediate jump that they were putting everything that they had into making sure they get Fantastic Four right. We have some competition here because DC Studios just came out swinging with Superman, and Marvel returned to their best with Fantastic Four. I can't wait to see what the years bring with these two studios firing on all cylinders again. I'm giving Fantastic Four First Steps an A+, a 9.7 out of 10, and I'm gonna say we're so back, baby. Even more back than Thunderbolts. Alright guys, that is it for the review. Please note that everything that I did say in this video was just my very own opinion, and you're free to comment down below. What did you think of Fantastic Four First Steps? Please don't forget to check out that Twitter and that TikTok link. Those are in the description, along with that Marvel playlist. That link is also in the description as well. And all that being said, guys, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Peace.